Hello everyone, welcome back. I'd like to continue the two-frame applications, especially with the jogging. Right? If you remember before, when I talk about the jogging coordinate system, we have two, I call default coordinate system, joint and world. Right? Those are the two system provide default coordinate system. Once we have the two frame set up, because it has some special properties, we can also jog the robot within the two frame. Right? It gave us some advantage in some special situation. So I'm going to demonstrate with the very special feature on the Handling Pro. Then I will use another example to talk about the touch up, right? So let me bring up the robot cell. So um, here. So for this one, I'm have some work to work on a fixture, but this fixture has some specialties on there because it's on a slope. I'm trying to get zoom in, but I don't know why. Yeah, over here. Yeah. Okay. So you can see here, there's a fixture on the table, right? It has three letters on the fixture. Maybe I want to trace the letter or maybe do some welding or something like that, right? But anyway, I need to perform some work on this fixture. But you can see it's not squared with the robot cell. It's in a angle, right? Because we have the two frame set up, we can jog the robot in two frame. So let me show here again. How do you get this current location of the robot? You have to switch between join and world. You can jog any way you want. All right, it's not my focus on this video, but this one I want to show you. Once you get to this place, how do you move on to perform some of the work on the slope? All right, so remember that coordinate system, right? When you press this, you can switch to different ones, right? So we already understand world. Now we have a tool, right? So we already understand join world. Now we're going to the third one called tool, right? Because we have we potentially we could have 10 different frames. So we have to open the jog menu, shift chord, right? Not only chord, shift chord. Make sure the two frame is on number one because the pointer is on number one, right? So that's the confirmation we need to do at the beginning. So once we know this is the two frame number one we are having here, and also we're trying to jog into two. So remember that tooling is associated with your physical real tooling, right? So with the tooling two frame setup, it has a very special character is that the Z direction is always point out from the default to outward, right? So, and if you don't change anything as a default, this direction will be positive Z. So that means if you want get closer to the slope, you just need going to positive Z direction. And negative Z will be the opposite way. All right, so again, this is a default. There's one way you can change it, but we'll talk about that on different video. And the X and Y direction is it's not uh, easily to find out because the rotation of your tooling could be anyway, right? So that means your X maybe is this direction, your Y maybe is that direction, right? So maybe this and Y, right? But once you rotate your pointer, the X and Y rotate with it, right? So you don't know which one for sure, but you know for sure the XY plane. Remember the XY plane, there's three different planes uh, we call the frame, right? So XY plane is the two-dimensional surface. It's always in 90-degree with Z direction. So we can use uh, this interesting character to do some jogging on there, right? So let's go back to here. So let me get to here. So right now it's pretty straight, 90 degree with the slope, right? So where I'm in two. So if, for example, if I go to positive Z direction, you can see here it's getting close in the same angle. If I go to minus Z, that will move away from the surface. So this is very interesting feature if we want to use. If I let it go, it will go through the, yeah, you can see here that collision has that, right? So just poke through that surface. Then when I go here, you can see the 90 degree, right? Pretty straight, right? So this is something you may interest when you work with something with a angle, right? So let me just get close to the surface. Oh, I crash. Maybe I should slow down a little bit, right? So then, oh, sorry. I just need to be very surface on here. Yeah, so very, very close to that surface. If I zoom in here, you can see that very close down here. Right? So remember I talked about an X and Y. The X and Y will be on right on this slope because I'm very close now, right? So I just don't know which way is X and which way is Y. But frankly, I already deliberately set up as that's X and that's Y. Remember, that's on the slope, right? So for example, if I want to trace this line on the letter F, so I just need to go the positive Y. Oh, I'm wrong. The direction is opposite, right? That's Y. So you can go down here, and if you go the other direction, this will be the X. I don't know which one is that direction. All right, so that's the other way, and that's this way. So if I look at it on the different angle, you will see that here. So you can see the X direction. Maybe X not very easy. Y direction, you can see that that's in the same angle, right? The same gap maintained between the tip to the surface, right? So that will make your your jogging very, very easily on the surface, right? So if you understand the concept of the two frame, you should understand what we're doing now on here, right? So this is uh, the jogging with the this slope, right? We can see that advantage with the two frame. And I'm going to show you the next one, which is our part of lab, right? In the lab, we're going to use the real robot, the trainer, to do the program, right? So what we're going to do is to teach a touch-up program, right? So what we want, what I ask you to do is that to pick the pin from the side. Notice here it's in the angle. To pick the pin from this location out, then go back to home and drop to the top, right? So drop part is easy, but the pick part is a little bit hard, right? So if you think about it, that's in the hole, in the angle, right? If you have to pull the pin out exactly the same angle as the pin or as the hole, otherwise you're gonna move the block, right? So that's the part you have to apply the two frame. Right? You understand the slope I just showed you, and that's exactly same situation on here. And first, let's run the program. So notice here, when I run the program, shift forward, you can see the screen flickering, right? It looks like running, but robot doesn't move because you can see here, I asked you to teach all the locations. Right, you can see the add symbol is on P1, P2. If you go down here, also on P3. So all the position P4, right? All the positions in this program, Actually, it's the same position, which is here, right here, right? I can even put that into step mode. If we go into step mode, shift forward, you can see here, it's home and also P2, right? So which is the approach, but robot doesn't move. I want you to jog a robot, right? Everybody understand? So you need to use what you learn to show me you can handle the program. Right, so let's see, we want to jog the robot close to this location as the approach, right? So uh, we're in joint, but I don't like the joint. I can change to rolled. So with rolled right hand rule, so you can see on here, I first maybe want to move to positive X direction, get closer to the pin. So positive X here. So definitely I'm on over on top of that pin now, right? But I need to go down, right? Which is according to the right hand rule, minus Z. So uh, you can see here, yeah, perfectly. Yeah, you can see on top in Singularity, right? I didn't get a chance to demonstrate on this. This is a particular problem with jogging. When you jog in world and when you have the J5, let me bring in the position window, right? When you have a J5 uh, close to 0 degree, then you will have a singularity problem. You can see here, it's -3. It's almost within positive or -5 degree. Robot will have this particular fall called in singularity. All right, this is not a video to talk about singularity. You can Google, you can check, you can read my lecture slide. All right, so it's a fall when you jog in world. The problem is J5 is close to 0 degree, right? To solve that problem, remember that we have to switch to joint coordinate. The problem is J5, so we have to fix J5, right? So to do that, we have to click the coordinate to change to joint. Oh, I pass it, joint. With J5, change to different angle. So this is J5, so I want to have a bigger angle on here, right? So now I'm in -30. So if I go back to world, before I try to go to lower the Z, right? So now let's see if you can lower the Z now. Yes, very good, right? So now I'm getting close. And if you look at the front, right? So I'm trying to pick up from the left. So maybe I suppose to rotate on this side a little bit. Let me get a pencil. Maybe I should rotate this side a little bit to get ready to pick up from this angle, right? So for that, I have to, because I'm enrolled, right? Second right hand rule, that means I have rotate around X. And also, if you're familiar with second right-hand rule, I should rotate around X in the positive direction. So that's the key I should press, right? World rotate around X in positive direction. So I'm get ready to that angle. Then I can start going down from here. Okay, so if you look at here, the gripper sort of line up, right? If you look at, no, not good, right? So we have to rotate. In this angle, maybe we should, not maybe, we should, right? We should rotate around Z, right? Positive rotation direction. If you understand the second right hand rule, you can apply it on here. So let me rotate around positive Z, rotate. So I'm trying to get that angle on here. Now let's look at from the front view. All right. So uh, not very line up with the stick, right? So the gripper is not perfectly line up. If I want line up, maybe I should switch back to drawing. So as you can see, the more you know how to handle your robot, there's more ways to do different things. The other direction, right? So the opening will line up with the stick here. Now I can go to roll, right? Look at here. You can see I keep switching the coordinate system uh, because I want to get a perfect angle on here. So now you can see getting closer to the same angle, right? So, okay, let me go back to uh, close to the robot, right? So minus X in world, right? So uh, not perfect, but I can work with this, start with this, right? So this is what I mean. One of the touch-up technique is that you can navigate between your program. If you read your program, so you know line number 10 is the approach to pick. So you want to change to this position. So that's why you need to highlight number 10. So you want to use the current location of the robot as your approach, but you can use it temporarily, but you can refine it later on. So shift F5 touch up. So when you touch up, it's gonna ask you a question because notice here on line 10, you have a P2. On line 18, you also have a P2. So you approach here, you retreat also to the same location. So the program can ask you, do you want to set a new ID? In this situation, you need answer no. If you answer yes, it will assign a new ID, which is you want to keep being number two, right? Click no, and you notice 18 and number 10 also being recorded, updated. All right, so this is the touch-up technique I'm talking about. So now I can start to jog in two, right? Remember that on the slope, similar to two, which is the peak position. I want my gripper going to the pin. So I need press the cord to get to two and maybe slow down to 5% and positive Z, similar to the slope, right? Again, because it's really hard to get perfect at the first time. So that's why I need to show you a retoucher, right? So right now it's in two and looks like our gripper gonna collide with the pin. So we need to move straight up a little bit. So we have to switch back to roll. Again, you need to choose the coordinate according to the situation, right? And slow down the speed going to positive Z, right? So in that. And let me see here. Yeah, looks like we can go in now. So now, before you go in, you have to switch to 2, positive Z. You go into the pin now, right? Different angle, look at it. You can see we should move back a little bit more, right? So to do that, 2 is not a good choice. You need to go into roll and slow down to 1%, go to minus X. So if you zoom in here, all right, yeah, looks like maybe you want to pull back a little bit, right? If you want to do that, 2 will do that. World is hard to do that, right? You have to pick the perfect coordinate to do certain things, all right? So uh, because the time is strict, I cannot do a perfect one. All right. So it's pretty good as a pick, right? So now you can touch up this, shift touch up, the pick being perfectly touch up. So now that's the catch. Remember before the P2 is not very good touch up because we don't have the pin as uh, the reference. So now we have very good peak position. We can use this as a base to retouch up the approach, right? If you look down the program, which is 18, right? The 18 has P2, or you can move back to line number 10, that number 10, same thing, all right? So now if you switch to 2, and remember that minus Z will straightly pull out your gripper in the same angle. That's exactly what we want, right? Other coordinate cannot do this, right? So let's make sure 2 and minus Z. So you can see that's exactly the same angle as the white pin. So that's perfect line up for approach, right? You can stop here and then touch up. Again, set new ID, no. So that means number 10, you can see add symbol on here, both are being updated. So if you run your program, right, in the step mode here, you will see a very decent program you teached on the robot. Let's shift forward and answer yes. All right, shift forward, speed up. So that's your home. Uh, okay, I need to turn around the step. You can backward, right? So that's your home. And then forward, 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 that'll be your approach. That's the perfect lineup we retouch up. Remember that, right? So you can see that line up perfectly and forward again, then that'll be the peak position, right? If you forward again, that's gonna retreat to the back approach position. All right, so this is a very good demo. I also demonstrate the singularity, and I demonstrate switching between different coordinate system. Right now, you have 3 different coordinate system you can choose from: joint, world, and tool. Right, you need to understand what situation to pick which coordinate system. Right. Okay, so I think I can stop my this demonstration over here. Right. See you.